Well, hello everybody and welcome. Thanks for watching. Today's topic is a little bit of a part two from my record haul that I had at Pooh Records a couple of weeks ago. I had bought so many records that I actually broke them off into two halves, being rock and roll and old school soul. This being the old school soul portion of that record haul, plus one. So let me tell you, the people that follow my channel, you guys know, and you know me, my friends, you know I'm a big rock and roller. But what you may not know is that I am also a big soul, old school 70s soul fan. That was my introduction to music. I came up in LA on LA radio listening to K-Day, 1580 K-Day, and KGFJ. The soul sounds of Motown and Philadelphia were very high on my radar, and that's what I was listening to, and that was my first love of music. So I had a great collection of albums of old soul that I bought growing up. But unfortunately, I moved out of my house when I turned 18. I moved out, which is a different story. But I was gone for a while. And when time came for me to come back and say, hey, Mom, where's those records that I left behind? Because I've come to claim them. What did Mom say? Donated. Gone. So, if you learn nothing today, if you move out, take your damn records with you. I lost all that record collection and I've been kind of trying to rebuild it ever since. One thing that makes it very difficult for me to rebuild that record collection is that, at least where I live, is there's not much vintage soul in the used vinyl bins. Not much at all. Slim pickings. Once in a while. Now, the only good thing about when I do find soul music in the bins is usually it's priced half of what they're charging for the classic rock over in the other bins. So great, good, because I want those albums as much as I want my classic rock, but they're charging almost 50% less. And so I grab them when I see them. Which brings us to this time. I was at Pooh and all of a sudden the used vinyl for old school soul bins were stuffed. They're never stuffed, but they were stuffed this time. Bang! So I bought some. All right? Enough of the long story. What did I get? Here we go. Let's start off in no particular order, right? Let's start off with Eddie Kendricks, baby. Eddie Kendricks had two of the coolest songs out of the 70s, in my opinion. Keep on Truckin' and Boogie Down. Eddie Kendricks was the one of the lead singers, I suppose you could call him lead singers, of the Temptations. The falsetto voice, the high voice of the Temptations. And he split to be on a solo career. And as I said, his two big hits, this one is Boogie Down. Now, the problem with Eddie Kendricks is just that, well, if you want those two big hits of his, you got to buy two separate albums, because this is this one and then the other one, Keep on Truckin', is on the other album. I've seen the Keep on Truckin' album at Pooh, but they wanted $20 for it. I wasn't going to drop $20 for that album. I love it, but I'm not going to pay 20 for, a beat up scratchy vinyl. I'll buy a reissue for $20 for that matter. Either way, I found this one, and as this goes true for all the souls that I picked up that I'll be showing you, greatly priced from $2.99. I think one was even $1.99. $1.99 to $4.99. Nothing over $4.99. So very reasonably priced. I picked up the Eddie Kendricks Boogie Down, one chip down. And as far as the rest of the album goes, not great, but pleasant enough listening. He's got a couple of pretty decent songs on here. that you don't mind listening to that are good, because what I mean is, like, it's not all album filter built around one single, album filler built around one single. No, there's some good, legit soul songs on here that he makes a little bit better than they probably should be, because he sings so beautifully. Eddie Kendricks. Very happy to get this. Next up, Float, Float On. Remember that song? All right, the Floaters, another almost you could call like a one-hit wonder out of that decade, out of that time period, that genre. I picked up this album. This might have been the Dollar 99 one, and picked it up basically just for that one song, the Float On, because I love that song. And it is stretched out. On the radio, you used to get like maybe 2 minutes, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Float On is like a 7-8 minute jam on the album. You know, they stretch out that high. My name is Kevin. I'm an Aquarius. Remember that whole that whole bit out of this song? So really pretty decent song. Well, I love the song. Beyond pretty decent song. As far as the album goes, though, take it or leave it. Your basic kind of disco-ish soul, kind of almost cannon fodder. Same old stuff. Background music if you're having a Motown party. Wasn't great. It wasn't groundbreaking, but Float On is the cut that I wanted, so I was very happy. Next up, Four Tops, who were in the news recently because why? The last of the surviving Four Tops passed away just last week. I forget his name. I'm sure it's here on the album. But I grabbed this Four Tops, Meeting of the Minds. I love these old soul groups, you know, these singing groups. These guys, the OJs, Spinners, bands like that, man, I ate them up. Next up, Emotions, Rejoice. They're also another group. I'm very surprised by the album, actually, to tell you the truth. Now, who are these gals? They're a girl group that was fronted and produced by Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire. And he was trying to launch them, you know, and they actually had a couple of very decent radio hits off of this album. What's on here? Oh, Don't Ask My Neighbors was the hidden song that I forgot they did. That wasn't the big single off of here, although that was good. Oh, Best of My Love. Give the best of my love. Whoa, whoa. Remember that song? So they did that. And that was their big, big hit. But also they had like a secondary hit with Don't Ask My Neighbors, which is on side B here. Very good song. I really love that song. So I was really happy to have got that on this album, included in this album. And you know what? They're very good. This is a very good sleeper album right here. The songs are really good. And again, produced by Maurice White. And because Maurice White is fronting you and pushing your record, Earth, Wind, and Fire is all over this album. Earth, Wind, and Fire shows up as their backing band here and there, backing drummer, backing pianos, backing horns. Maurice White drops in a few backup lyrics. So it's almost like a bonus Earth, Wind, and Fire album from when Earth, Wind, and Fire was in this phase. Just basically quality music throughout this album. As I said, a sleeper. Pick this up if you see it. Now, going a little bit faster to finish out, and this is going to get its own video. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because actually this is going to turn into a part 3. But here we go. Previously at Puba, I had picked up part 1. This time, I found and I bought part 2. 21 very important platters from, as I mentioned, who did I listen to when I was growing up in LA? KGFJ. All right. So I picked up part 2 of this compilation. More on this to come later. This is Los Angeles history, Los Angeles radio history right here. Now, finally, to close this out, thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me all my long tales about these albums. This album I did not get at that haul, but I went back to Puba's this past weekend, and I happened to find one more album I grabbed. So I'm going to drop it in here. One more old school soul album, Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. The big song off of this one was Sweet Thing on side 2. There you have it. I picked up all of these, and credit to Puba, as I said, wonderfully priced from, very reasonably priced, $2.99 to $4.99. I grabbed all of those. And the other thing about it is, really only this Rufus album is Snap, Crackle, Pop, which might be one reason why I wasn't crazy about side 1, because actually the first song on side 1, I couldn't clean it out. It's got like a repeat skip, and I just couldn't get it clean enough to lose that. And the rest of the side is pretty scratched up, so it wasn't well loved. But side 2 cleaned up pretty well. Still has some Snap, Crackle, Pops. But all the other albums that I showed you and I talked about today, just beautifully cleaned up, very beautiful and good, clean sounds. Near mint, the majority of them. So I'm very happy to report that, because I do love my sounds. I like some of the album vinyl warmth and ambiance of an occasional pop, but not really. The cleaner the album, the better. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace. Oh, go Olympics. Go USA. How about that heavy metal opening? Did you guys see that? That was awesome.